Hello everyone, welcome to this live session wherein we are going to talk about personal finance for expecting and new moms. Well, personal finance is important for each and every one of us, but then it gets all the more important when you are pregnant because you will have upcoming maternity leave and you will also have to plan on joining back your work, how you're going to plan it, or what are your savings. Anirudh and Lakshmi, who will be joining us. They are our guests for today. They will be joining us, and they are the founders of Me Finance. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll just get the others in. So I'm just getting Lakshmi and Vidya. Give me a moment. Hey,
Yeah.
hi.
Hi. Hi.
Okay. Yeah. So Vidya is also
Awesome.
here.
Okay.
Perfect.
Works.
Okay. Yeah. So let's continue with the live session. I was just giving an introduction about Fin and Me Wealth. So guys, it's LLP. It is registered with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, India. And rest, I will leave it up to you, Anirudh and Lakshmi. If you all want to give a little bit of introduction on, about Fin and Me, it would be great. And then we can continue with our questions. And just before we begin the session, thank you everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, please do post them in the questions box below, and do not just write it in the comments because very often we tend to lose the comments. Thank you. Yeah, on to you, Lakshmi and Anirudh.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. My name is Lakshmi Kantan. So I'll start with this. So we are SEBI certified AMFI registered mutual fund distributors. Our company name is Me Wealth Partners LLP, and we are also an authorized partners with ICICI Securities. On how we started, so it's kind of a funny story, I would say. Both I and Anirudh are kind of financial enthusiasts, you can say. We have had interest in finance for some time. I personally have been in stock markets and investments for the last 10 years, 10 plus years now. Anirudh also has been into investments for a while now, and we were discussing about certain, points around finance. Even though we were in a different industry, we always talk about finance, and we're thinking how we can contribute, in this subject. And that's when we thought we will start with writing some articles on finance. That's how we started this org. Initially, it was just posting of some articles on information on finance, how it works, how personal finance works, and different articles around it. And it was going on for a while like that. And after that, we thought we should, actually help more people, because when we were writing these articles, we also found out that there were a lot of people who had a lot of questions. And even after those answers, they thought they don't really know what the next steps are and how they have to go through this journey to kind of move towards financial independence, which we will talk in much more detail going forward. So based on this, we basically started this company, and then we kind of cleared all the required examinations and whatever we need in terms of the clearances. So we are now AMFA registered mutual fund distributors, like I said, and we are offering solutions. We are offering financial advice and financial investment related activities, and we also kind of basically help people. That's what we do: help people with their personal finance challenges, and how to overcome that in terms of long-term financial goals, how to address that, and how they can kind of contribute towards their own financial independence and freedom in the long term.
Right.
Thank you, LK. Anirudh, do you want to
No,
say
I
a
think,
few words?
yeah, so LK covered it also. I think the main thing I wanted to emphasize is we started this entire project with a passion to help people. Personal finance and investments, it's not something that we learn so much in high school. Unfortunately, most of us start getting this awareness in our 40s. Today's generation is much better. They are starting off in the 20s. There's much more awareness today than what we had younger when we were younger. So it's still an area which is not very popular, and it's maybe in the last 2 or 3 years it's only now it's getting popular. So it's still an area where people require a lot of professional help, and that's where we enjoy we are passionate about helping people understand things and get started. So that's one of the main reasons why we started this whole thing.
Thank you, Anirudh and LK. So this is our first question. So why is goal-based financial planning important, or what is goal-based planning, financial planning?
Sure. Okay. So the way most of us think about money is that we end up spending the money we have in the bank. We don't think too far ahead. Especially people who are salaried, we get the money in our bank account at the beginning of the month, and we start making plans for shopping, travel, everything. Some of us run out of money at the end of the month. We don't think too far ahead. We know we will get an income next month, and then we make plans. Sometimes we overspend our monthly budget paying on credit cards, and then we assume we can pay it back the next month and things like that. Most of us run our lives this way. But the way money works is in the long term, you will reach a point where you may not be earning anymore, or you will have goals which are larger than your monthly salary. So you need to start planning ahead for big expenses that will be coming up down your life. And this could be potentially something as big as retirement, where in previous generation they had lifelong pension from the government. We don't have that in the private sector. So you need to plan for if you're retiring at 60, you need to plan for your money lasting until you're maybe 90. You might have children's higher education or wedding expenses, or it might be something as simple as you might just want to take a break for 4 or 5 years and do many things. It could be related to pregnancy, it could be related to you might just want to start a company. But all of this requires a little bit of planning, and the way you save and invest money will depend on when you need the money and how often are you going to withdraw from it. So, which is why entire financial planning, it makes sense to do it according to your financial goals. Have a little bit of clarity on how much money you need when, and that will determine how to save or how to invest, where to save, what instruments to invest in, what asset classes to invest in, and certain asset classes work in a certain way. So all of this people end up doing either blindly, where they invest in things they don't understand. They might be investing less than what they need, or they might invest without understanding the risks, which means they expect money to be available at a certain time. But if things don't work out as they plan, they might end up with less money than they end up anticipating. So all of this requires a sort of proper structure and planning, so that we usually say that this is personal finance. In the conversations, we understand how money works, and there are certain basic rules which we should be following. So we bring the finance part, you bring the personal part, and then when we have this conversation, we come up with the ideal solution for your specific personal finance goals and requirements. So that is why we talk about goal-based planning and goal-based investments. Unfortunately, many of us get excited with the idea of investing, and some people get started buying stocks they don't understand, buying a whole bunch of mutual funds. They might be investing in things they don't understand. So instead of that, what we advocate is a more structured method of planning and investing. We start off by having a conversation about your regular expenses and monthly budget and things like that. We start from there, understand your goals, and then we suggest the ways and means to invest and products to invest in, so that you get the money when you need, regardless of the market conditions or how other things operate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm still learning.
yeah, thank you for that detailed explanation, Anirudh. Okay, so specific to the audience over here, okay, since we have women who are already in their pregnancy, okay, and there are women who are new mothers. So, for our audiences, is this goal-based financial planning important? And if yes, then how can they go about it?
Sure. So, a common situation is that women who are expecting to be pregnant, they are afraid of the potential loss of income. You might be planning to take a maternity leave of 6 months, which could be a paid leave, but sometimes that leave gets extended to 2 years, sometimes even 5 years. You might not plan for it, but sometimes it happens. Uh, or sometimes you might want to spend more time with your newborn without worrying about the loss of income. And this is very clear, right? You don't want to be dependent on your spouse for every single thing, or you would want to retain a certain amount of independence. And also, the whole idea of maternity and pregnancy brings about uncertainties in terms of what kind of expenses might come up. So it is good to plan for all of this in advance. And not all of us are able to do that, but if it brings a certain structure and predictability to expenses in a generally unpredictable period, an important period in your time. So it makes sense to have these honest conversations with your financial planner along with your spouse, and you might not end up having to do radically new things, but it's having a conversation will still help the financial planner figure out your current situation and allocate. Okay, these are ways to do it. You have this much amount of emergency expenses. You have this health insurance, and in this health insurance, you might potentially think about adding the kid soon after they're born. So there are a lot of different aspects to it. Along with that, we can also plan for your particular situation in terms of how much money do you think you would need, how long do you plan to not be without work or income. So based on all of that, we can suggest financial solutions that work for specific situations. So again, I would say it depends on various specific circumstances for different people. But in general, I think the biggest fear for women is the potential loss of income and the loss of financial independence that comes with it. And that can be planned for, that can be mitigated with a little bit of advanced planning. And you might start putting away some money in a certain types of instruments. So that gives you that feeling of, okay, I have this piggy bank, I have this thing where, it gives you the freedom to make certain decisions independently.
Okay, so what kind of planning should women do before planning pregnancy? And is it only for women, or as a couple also can be done?
Okay, so normally all the financial planning that we do, we recommend doing it as a couple, as a family, because nowadays we have like two people earning, and your family's future will depend on both of your incomes, and you will have to plan things accordingly. There are again different ways we can do it. Sometimes uh, the woman might want to have their own financial independence corpus independent of the spouse. Sure, we can plan for that as well. But if they prefer to do it as a couple, then we bring them together and discuss common goals, and we have a conversation in which we come up with a plan where maybe the husband invests for one goal, like, let's say retirement, the wife invests for the children's education. So there are a lot of different ways we can do it. Or the husband puts away a certain amount for retirement, wife puts away a certain amount for retirement. So a lot of different ways we can do it. So we normally do this as a couple, as a family, which actually makes more sense. And it's not always that we insist that we need to invest with us. Even if you have some other investments outside, this will help put everything together in a single coherent plan, which helps you as well have visibility into where your money is coming from, where it is going, and what you're saving for, and are you saving enough for these requirements. So we help put together a plan that gives you full visibility into all of that, and that level of clarity will make things a lot easier for you. You don't need to understand how investments works or where I should invest. All that kind of thing you can outsource to us. But having the conversation will help you get that clarity and the confidence that okay, you have a plan which is going to help you plan for all of these goals. So especially for women who are about to get pregnant or planning to get pregnant, you might want to think about putting away a certain amount of corpus. It may not have a specific goal, but you might just want to have that pot of money saved up. So we have different levels of risk for such type of goals. We recommend certain types of investments, certain types of products and asset classes for such type of goals. Sometimes it might just be to make sure that you have enough money saved up for upcoming maternity expenses and upcoming expenses during the first 3-5 years of the kid's life. Then instead of, especially people who end up living paycheck to paycheck, spending all their money on shopping and everything. Suddenly, if you are encountered with a situation where there's one more life that you need to plan for, care for, a lot of expenses, they just struggle with it. So this just helps you bring some structure into your planning. That okay, you just put aside this much amount of money for these upcoming expenses. Then the rest of it you can plan in whatever way. So that is one use case. Each situation is different, and the planning would need to be customized for each person separately. But it's essentially making sure that you have enough money for all the potential expenses that you can expect during early days of your pregnancy. So this is one use case. The other use case is probably also for school fees initially. In compared to the times 20 years ago, school fees have become extremely expensive now. So you might want to start saving up a little bit in advance. So even if you haven't started thinking about investing before getting pregnant, after getting pregnant, and maybe you are about to join back the workforce, or you have a conversation with your spouse, you can still start when your kid is 6 months old, 1 year old. You can still start planning for it. So the next 4 years, you can accumulate a certain amount of money and plan for their school fees in the initial years. So yeah, all of these things can be done, and it would make life a lot simpler if planned a little bit in advance.
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, it's not here.
Yeah.
It just came to my mind. Usually, no, there are many people, and I would do this just to, reduce the tax deduction. I would look for investments. So this, future planning and goal, plan so much ahead. I would not think, or there might be many people like that. So how you will, how you will let them know, let the women know that, see, you're going to get pregnant, you're planning for kids. So this is the thing that you need to plan. How will you just start? Like, what are the tips or suggestions you guys would give them or her? Like they don't know anything. Just for the tax saving, they are doing something.
Yeah. So regarding the tax saving, I have a response particularly for that. So recently, the government introduced this new tax regime where you have none of those tax saving options, and it is expected that down the line, government will probably do away with all of these exemptions, and that's where we are probably headed towards. And previously, the government's attitude was, you know what, if you invest in these options, we'll give you these tax benefits.
Yeah.
That increases awareness about these products. You start using them, and once you develop your awareness, you might start investing more according to your needs. That was the philosophy. But like you said, most of us never did that. 1.5 lakhs was the limit. You invested only that much, and that's it.
Yes.
Tax saving done. For your retirement or other goals, you might have to end up investing, let's say, 5 lakhs per year, but you're investing only 1.5 lakhs. So that might be, you might be investing far less than what you actually need, but we never get that far. today, with the new tax regime, government's attitude is, we don't care anymore whether you invest or not. We don't care about you learning about these options. We're not going to give you tax deductions. You're completely on your own. We know you're mature enough to do things. So whether you do it or not is not our problem anymore. So the government is basically not handholding us into these tax saving options anymore. They're just going to say, simple, forget deductions, forget all of these things. If you want to invest, you invest. If you want to spend, you spend. If you spend, it's good for the economy. If you want to save, you save and invest. So they don't care about it anymore. It's only up to us to grow up, basically, when it comes to saving and investing. And we need to get away from this whole tax saving mindset and start thinking about why you're investing, what you're investing, and when you need the money, and start having these conversations with personal finance planners, or do it yourself. You can learn about it. There's huge amounts of information online. We have our own website where we've explained everything in a simple, easy to understand manner. It's not full of jargon. We try to explain it in the form of stories. So apart from there's a lot of material available online, it is no longer optional for us not to learn about personal finance. You might not end up becoming finance experts, but you need to know at least some basics, and you need to start thinking beyond just tax savings into what are the types of investments available, why you should be investing. Start thinking about your future, thinking about long-term requirements, and understand inflation. Inflation is something that is very important to the concept of investment. The whole point of long-term investments is that you need to preserve the purchasing power of the money that you're saving. If you end up saving a lot of money in FD and keep it in FD for the next 20 years, you will lose a lot of the value to inflation. It's like you're pouring water into a tank, but the tank has got a leak in the bottom. No matter how fast you keep refilling the tank, that tank is leaking. That leak is inflation. So it doesn't matter if you keep putting money in FD, you will end up leaking the value due to inflation. So your goal of investments, primary goal of investments, is not to become rich, not to become wealthy, not to do all that eventually. But the primary goal is to maintain or increase the purchasing power of the money that you are saving. And that is, and especially with long-term 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 40-year goals, that is where investments mainly come into the picture. Right. So this is with respect to tax saving. So what kind of things we would tell them? We normally have a conversation with them to understand. So we have a excellent Excel tracker, which we usually share with clients when they come to us for the first time. It gives them a picture of where the money is coming from, where the money is going today. And most of us, we just spend intuitively the money that we have in our bank without thinking too much. Especially if you are paying with credit card, not very clear to us at all how much we are spending for each category. Are you spending too much on Swiggy and Zomato and eating out and stuff, or are you overspending on Amazon or shopping? We don't know, and this Excel, when we give it to them, it usually blows people's minds. It is like, oh wow, I didn't know I was spending so much on this, right? So it's the first exercise before investing, before saving. The first exercise is budgeting, and even prior to budgeting, the first exercise is to audit your current situation, where your money is coming from, where it's going, and how you're spending. And when we get people to fill this up, that is when we get a clearer idea about their situation, and based on that, we give them very specific advice on what to do next. So,
So I just want to interrupt.
Yeah, sure.
Anirudh, just 1 minute. Yeah, I just want to tell you guys, everyone who's watching this live session now, and all of those who will be watching it later on. So Anirudh and Lakshmi, they do not charge you fees for their consultation services. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anirudh and LK. So their model is very different, okay? And I would really urge everyone watching this session to at least have an initial chat with these guys, because for women I really feel that it is essential, it is necessary, it's also essential and necessary for men. But then, we talk so much about women being financially independent. Okay, there's no use of it if you have no proper financial goals and you do not have a control on your own finances. So it's really important, to have that empowerment. What we talk about so much, we talk about women empowerment, women financial independence. It's really important to do this activity. It's not a luxury, or it's not something, that is optional. It is mandatory. It is required. It depends, like what you want to, which way you want to go forward. That's of course your choice. But then at least start, get the basics right. Have some sessions either with Anirudh and LK, or have some sessions with any other, financial advisors or you are comfortable with, or you trust. But have that initial conversation started, okay, and then see where you go from there. And some really awesome tips which I could get from the session. And I just want to mention about one tip which Anirudh just spoke about. When we are spending money from our credit cards or even from our debit cards, we do not really value that money. It's just numbers. So you had a transaction, and then that number is gone, and you don't even feel like, you don't have that emotions attached with it. Wherein, just imagine, you have you withdrew some particular amount of money at the start of the month. Say your budget is 30K per month. Okay, you have 30K to spend on your household expenses. You withdrew 30K. That amount, that number, that actual money will keep on reducing as we keep on making that transactions. It really makes a difference. This is something that I've been doing not from long back. I started it recently, and it really makes a difference, guys. So yeah, that is one of the best tips I could say. And remaining, we would be sharing all the details of Finn and me in the description of this live session that we will be posting on our feed. I really urge you guys to have a basic conversation, going. Start it. If you have any questions, do drop them in the comments, or anything else. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and also we have a detailed webinar planned after this live session. We will share the details soon. Yes, over to you, Anirudh.
Okay, so I just want to follow up on two things that Nilafar mentioned. One about women and investing. Okay, so in a previous generation, men used to give women money at the start of the month, and they would be excellent at budget a month. My mom used to be so diligent in putting away money every month that when demonetization happened, she did not know that she had put away some 20,000 somewhere else, which we discovered 1 year later. That's a different story, and we couldn't use it. So that's a story. But the point is, women have been traditionally very good at budgeting and saving and all of that. Today, unfortunately, if you look at the number of women who are aware about investing, who invest in mutual funds, who invest in stocks, it's very low percentage compared to men. Unfortunately, today, men dominate all conversations, all discussions, and all questions when it comes to investing in stocks, investing in mutual funds, all of that. There are very few women who are aware and who take this up and they do it. And there is no reason why it should be this case. All of us are, most of us did not learn this in high school. Most of us did not have this kind of awareness in high school. But eventually, it became a man's thing in many households to, plan for investments and everything. Women are either not interested, and it is, if they are not interested, they don't have to be. They can, at least one person in the household has to be. If the man is not, at least the woman can step up and be the one to understand about these things and start planning for it. The man can focus on spending, the wife can focus on saving and investing. There is no reason why it should be, either this or that. But at least one person in a family should be aware, and that person should have at least enough awareness to work with a financial advisor to plan for the future. They don't have to become experts. They don't have to become stock market experts. They don't have to do anything. They just need to know enough to understand how this works, have enough knowledge to have discussions with the financial advisor and plan and work accordingly. And not everybody
Actually,
needs to.
as you mentioned, Anirudh, it's not about getting rich or something. It's basic thing, guys. Our parents or the people in the previous generation, they had something called as pension, which we guys majority of us do not have. So what are we going to do? You can't keep working forever. Okay, there's a certain age limit wherein after that you would not be able to continue whatever you are doing currently. So what are your plans? What are you going to do then? Okay, you can't start planning for it after reaching there. There's no point in doing that. The right time to do it is very early, like as soon as you start earning. Even if you've not done it when you started earning, it's still not late. It's never, I would not say it's never late, because then I would be contradicting myself. But then, yeah, start now. Most of the people who are the audiences of New Mother, they are in the age range of say 25 to 35. So this is perfect. You're still not late. Okay, if you start now, you can still catch up, and you would be able to plan an awesome retirement for yourself. So do it. Start it. Start with the basic steps. Start reading. Even if you don't feel like going and talking to anybody right now, I would really urge you to start reading about it, so that you open up, that kind of knowledge you have. Okay, and then eventually, as you get more confident, or as you find the need of talking to somebody, bringing in an expert, you can eventually do that. Yeah, Nirus, please continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way investing and the way all of this works is that you need to give it at least 15 to 20 years. So if you're starting in your 20s or 30s, that gives you enough time to become reasonably financially independent in your 40s and 50s. If you're starting in your 50s, that becomes too late. So we have some clients who have come to us starting to talk about retirement planning at 52, 53, 54, 4, 5, 6 years of working life left. It becomes very difficult to plan for them at this stage. We're not magicians. Money, it doesn't work like magic. Although on the internet there are a lot of people who promise get rich quickly, become a crorepati in 1 year, and all of that. Don't fall for all that kind of scams. It's not possible. Getting rich slowly is the right way to do it. The earlier you're able to start, you can not only become financially independent, but you can also build wealth and reach a level of financial abundance where you have more money than what you can probably spend. You reach the stage, you do charity, you retire early. A lot of things you can do with it. Yeah.
I think we others have to mute our mics because echo.
Okay. Yeah. So basically what I'm saying, you need to give this time. You need to be patient, not be in a hurry. And if you do this, like Nilupur mentioned, it's not about getting rich and wealthy. The myth is that only those who want to become extremely wealthy need to invest. But it doesn't work that way. The previous generation had guaranteed pension, guaranteed by the government for life. We don't have that. Even government employees today, after 2003, they don't have that. They only have the new pension scheme, which is just like an EPS corpus. You just build that corpus, and then how you manage the money is up to you. That money may or may not be enough for the kind of life you want to lead in retirement. And our lifespans have increased. People in our generation, my wife's grandfather is 94, I guess. In today, they are living up to 94. By the time we get into the 90s, medical technology could have improved so much that we might well live into our hundreds. It may not be up to us. So.
But then the inflation would have gone up unimaginably. What is the prediction, by the way, by the time we are 90 for the inflation rate to be?
Yeah, exactly, right. So the thing is, inflation doesn't have to be high at that time. Like you just put 6% inflation, and the way compounding works, and at that time you would be spending in crores instead of lakhs. And it may seem like a huge amount of thing, but if you speak to your parents and grandparents, they will be talking about salaries of 100 rupees, 200 rupees. Today we're talking about salaries in lakhs. At that time, we were talking about salaries and expenses, monthly expenses in crores. And it would just be like a
And it is
normal thing.
less. That is still less. Like, if you're earning 1.5 lakh, it is like very average. Like, it's not that we are considering something like as luxury, that we are rich. Okay, so guys, think about it in that way. Like, just run your imagination while and think about it. Like, currently, even 1 lakh salary per month is we're not considering it luxury. Just go back 15 years. 15 years back, 1 lakh was something. Like, it meant something. I remember, during my college days when, like, 1 lakh was something. Now, 1 lakh is like, nothing much. It's because of the inflation rate. Like, maybe I'm not able to explain it very nicely in terms of, percentages and, talking about, financial terminology. But then think about it. Think about it. Like, as the years pass by, okay, things are going to get costlier. And by the time, we are 50, 60, 90 is also a faraway thing. By the time we are 50, 60, 20, 30 years down the line, inflation is going to be way much higher than what it is now. It's going to go down. So it's really essential. Like, I cannot stress more on this thing, that whatever Anirudh said throughout the session, okay, why it is important? It is important because of this. You have to do it. It's not mandatory. It is essential. The earlier you understand it, the better it is for you. You have to really think about it in this way, that it is not an optional thing. It is something that is needed. Okay, unless and until you have maybe some ancestral wealth or something. Apart from that, if you don't have it, then you have to do financial planning.
Yeah, so even for those with ancestral wealth, so if you look at examples from the celebrity world, there are so many celebrities who earned so much and they lost it all. They've become bankrupt. Why? Their lifestyle could not match up to the money that they had. So there are basic rules of finance that applies to everybody. You might end up with 10 crores of lottery or ancestral property or whatever, but if you have a lifestyle of 1 crore a year, you would just be finishing off your wealth in 10 years, right? So it doesn't matter that you have high income. It doesn't matter that you have high amount of wealth today through your ancestors or through a lottery, whatever. There are basic personal finance and money principles at work. A simple rule of thumb is, if you are able to put away at least 30% of your income every month, and you're able to do this consistently over a period of 20 years, you would be in a much better off position by default. If you're able to do up to 50%, half your salary is for the future, half your salary is for today, then you would be, there is no way that you would not end up getting wealthy. You inevitably, you would become enormously wealthy. There are just very simple ways of simple habits that if you start forming in your early years, in your 20s and 30s, and if you keep doing this for 15, 20, 30 years, that itself by default will put you far ahead of most people.
So basically, consistency and patience is needed.
Absolutely.
And yes, and we have actually covered all the questions. Yeah. So what I want to say is, we have to all the viewers and who will watch this video later, we have a detailed webinar for this, where Anirudh and LK will be walking you through on how to start. It's not a personal consultation webinar. That is how you can start and what it looks like, to give you a broader picture. We cannot do all that in a live session where time is limited, where you can in the webinar you can ask your questions, and you can there will be a lot of interactive conversations during the webinar, and we will be releasing the date and time soon. Please stay tuned. And LK, you want to end the session on any note, or by suggesting some tips or key points?
Yeah, sure. So I just want to consolidate whatever we just spoke about. So when we are talking about goal-based investment, what that is all about is we can just take an example of someone taking a loan, right? It can be a home loan, can be a personal loan. They'll be taking a home loan for buying a house, or taking a personal loan for doing some specific stuff in their life. what they know in this case is that they have an X amount that they have to close, for getting a house, or in case of a personal loan, they take it for a travel, and they know that okay, they need that X amount, and they take a personal loan, and then they know that they have to close it in order to get that loan closed. But when we are talking about investments, when we are talking about long-term requirements like retirement or kids' education or marriage or whatever it is, we don't have any such view, right? What is very clear in terms of loan is not there when we are talking about investments, and that's exactly where goal-based investment would really work. You were talking about for someone who doesn't know where they have to start, this is exactly where they have to start. Everyone knows what they want to do in their life, right? So everyone has a goal. They know that they have to retire at this specific age, or they want to do something specific, or with their kids' education, they want to do something. So that's exactly where they have to start, even in the finance side of things. And then we put together a complete framework around it. We kind of suggest what exactly is required for achieving that goal, and then go towards it. So what this gives, it gives a complete structure. It makes sure that people know exactly what they're running for, and it also gives a clear idea on when they can stop. Because if you're just running without knowing where you're running, what your goal is, you'll just keep running till the end, and you don't know whether you've reached it. And even for retiring, you don't know that when you can retire, because you don't know what exactly you need. So that's exactly this would really help. And finally, there are two important factors that we have to consider in long-term investment. One is, of course, money. Money is definitely required to make money. The second most important thing, or I would say the important thing, is time. Annie was talking about patience. You were also highlighting that. Time is extremely important, because if you have more time, you can achieve your goals even with lesser money investment. If you don't have time, even if you put a lot of money, you can't achieve your goals. So time becomes a very important factor. If we can start early, it becomes so different. When we talk, maybe in a more detailed way, we'll be able to explain that. But when you have more time, you don't know. You can actually invest a lot lesser and still achieve your goals. So time is very important. Start early and just keep going. In terms of whatever the plan is, just keep going with it. Definitely, you can achieve your goals from a long-term perspective. That's what I want.
Yeah, so we
Want
can
to
say
highlight.
start now. Yeah,
Yes,
so can we
absolutely.
say start now?
Absolutely.
Yesterday was the best day. Next best option is today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, LK and Anirudh, for joining us.
Glad to be
And
here.
Sure.
yes, and definitely I can see, webinar will be a definite, give a clear picture and broader picture. This was just to start, give a kickstart kind of. So whoever have joined this video or watching this video, please stay tuned. We'll be posting all the details soon. And thank you everyone for joining us and watching us live. Nilüfer, you want to say something?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, LK and Anirudh, for taking out time and joining us today and talking about this topic, which is very much not spoken about, especially for women during their pregnancy or during early motherhood days. Okay? Nobody really talks about it. Although every woman is facing this issue, okay, all working women are facing this issue, and maybe that's the reason that women are forced to carry on with so many different things and stress out themselves at the end of the day. Maybe I don't know the exact solution, but maybe with the right planning and right things in place, right strategy in place, maybe they can make their own life much easier. That's what I can think of. And as Vidya said, I'm looking forward to the webinar, and yeah, let's have a webinar when we can really come up with proper strategies which will actually help women, which will really help them to plan ahead, plan well. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
take care. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.